So today, I want to talk about using the concepts that we've been talking about with lenses and images to discuss how your eye works. And the crucial piece of the puzzle today is this little device right here. Now this is just a little flexible envelope that I can put water in, but this is going to work as a lens. It's both sides are a little bit convex, so this works like a converging lens, and I can change the shape of the lens by putting water into it or by taking water out of it. I can adjust the thickness of the center of the lens, and ultimately what I'm doing when I do that is I'm changing the focal length of the lens. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this lens, pop this in here, and there's a little pupil on the front. There's a flexible lens here, and in the back I've got a retina, and I'm looking at, I'm making an image of this object right here. So here's my object, and there's an image which is showing up on the screen back here, which is our retina. And if I want to bring that image into focus, what I can do is I can change the power of the lens. And if I adjust it just right about there, I have a nice crisp image on my retina. And so everything is in focus. But if I subsequently take that object and I move it closer, my image on my retina is now out of focus. And since I've moved it closer, okay, my distance S has gone down. My distance S prime stays the same. I have to make the lens have a stronger power. I have to have it have a shorter focal length, stronger power. So I'm going to pump water into it, and that makes it chubbier, and that makes it have a higher power. And then I can bring my image back into focus right there. Now there's a limit to how far you can do this, and this thing is about at its limit. So if I take this light bulb and I move it even closer, I can't bring it into focus. My eye simply will not focus closer than that. I can't change the shape of the lens anymore. So what I can do is I can add a lens to the system, and this lens is a converging lens. And so if I take this little star here, and I put the lens in front of it, you can see that it's clearly larger. This is a converging lens, and a converging lens is going to make a magnified virtual image. So if I take that converging lens and I put it in front of the eye, and this is exactly what you would do with eyeglasses or with contact lenses. I take this lens and I put it here, oh heavens to Betsy, and that has brought it into a nice crisp focus, because now the power of this lens adds to the power of the lens in the eye, and it allows me to focus closer. So this would be like using a magnifying glass, or for someone who's farsighted who doesn't have good near vision, it would allow them to look at things closer. Or for someone who has presbyopia and can't accommodate their vision like this extra power of the lens will bring things into closer focus. Now let's look at the situation of a nearsighted person. A nearsighted person has great near vision. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this thing right here, nice, crisp, it's in focus. But if I were to take this and move it further away, here's the situation of a nearsighted person. The power of the lens is too great, and it doesn't bring the image into a crisp focus. And in that case, the remedy is to use a diverging lens. And this is a diverging lens. And we can see if I take my star here, and I take my lens and put it in front of it, it's clearly smaller. So this is a diverging lens, and it makes a virtual image. And you're seeing a virtual image, of course, because you're looking through the lens that is smaller than the object. So if I take that diverging lens and I put it in front of the eye, it reduces the overall power of the imaging system, and it brings it into a pretty decent focus, just a tiny bit of accommodation, and I have a nice crisp focus here. So that's the situation of a nearsighted person. The flip side, if you add this lens in front of here, is it's reduced the near point of the eye, and we talked about that a little bit in class. So this is a bit about how your visual system works. You're changing the focus to focus on different objects by changing the power of the lens in your eye. But it can only work within certain limits, and so in some cases, you're going to need some additional optical elements to help focus things. And while we're here, I just want to talk about one other thing, which kind of like is an interesting thing to know. I'm going to bring this image so it's in a nice sharp focus. And so we see an image of the light bulb on our retina. I'm going to take this star shape and I'm going to put it in front of the eye. And I want you to see how that affects the image. And it's kind of surprising. So if I take this star-shaped thing and I put it in front of the eye, what happens is nothing. The image looks exactly the same. And as it turns out, if you have a shape like this that is in front of where the rays of light are focused, you don't see an image of the shape. You don't see an image of the shape. What you see is just less light. So you could have an animal that had a star-shaped iris, and if you looked at the world the way it looks at the world, it's not, you wouldn't see like star edges on it. It's just going to look exactly as you look at it. Sometimes in movies, if they're showing like, oh, I'm looking from the point of view of a cat, they have like a cat iris thing. It doesn't work like that. No matter what shape your iris is, you see the full image of everything that's in front of you because that shape is in front of where we bring the light into focus. And that's just a little extra piece that I wanted to show you in this video. And there's one other piece that's an extra that I want to show you in this video. If you're a person who is still watching this video, I know what kind of student you are. You're the kind of student who does everything that you're asked to do. You know we've created these resources for you, and you're taking advantage of all the resources that we have. You're my kind of student. I was that kind of student back in the day. And so you've made it all the way to the last minute of the last video for the Physics 122 class. And here's my extra. There's a lot of talk these days. Now that everybody is just working by teleconference, we're all on Zoom. Other people are only seeing us from the waist up. What are we wearing on the lower halves of our bodies? And you might wonder, because you know when I teach, I'm wearing like kind of sassy shirts, but I typically wear black pants. But how about if nobody knows what I'm wearing on the lower half of my body? What does Brian Jones wear under those circumstances? And for you, the students who have made it all the way to the bitter end, we're about to find out. We've cleared the table, and now it's time to clear the tablecloth. And there you have it, folks. I was saving these trousers for the last day of class as a special treat. And this is the last video that I'm going to make for class, so I'm revealing them now. But I'd like to take the last minute to say it's been a pleasure working with you folks this semester. There's more class yet to come, and of course our final exam. I'll be giving you all kinds of information about that. But I hope that you're keeping well during this crazy time. And I want to thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be your instructor and to share some things with you. Take care, folks.